Facebook. I think we're finally there. Wait, are we there? I think we're live. We are live. Hello and welcome, Andrew Kroeze. I welcome you officially to the Conscious Entrepreneur community. My great friend, personal mentor, and legend, overall legend, the founder of the seven-figure CEO Mastermind and Tribe of Buyers, and overall extraordinaire. So I'm just going to count some of the great accomplishments that I am aware of, and you can fill in the blanks. I'm so grateful to have you here and share your wisdom and your knowledge, your experience with our tribe, because you've made over $1.5 million in the last 18 months and scaled your business and basically became the CEO at 27 years old, which is not that old, younger than me, actually. So that's pretty great. You've accomplished the 2 Comma Club Award, $100,000, 100K Club Award, been live on stage with Russell Brunson and the internet marketing greats. You've made over $800,000 at a live event at Tribe of Buyers Live in the fall of last year. And you're kind of a cool guy to hang around with. So welcome, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm all right to hang around. Yeah.
It's kind of fun. It's fun to have shisha and smoke hookah with you too. Just when we hang out. Yeah, dude, thank you for being here. Anything I missed about my introduction that you want our conscious entrepreneurs to know about you?
Yeah, I think those accomplishments are really cool, and it's a product of hard work. But I think the coolest part that's kind of missed out is being able to donate a house down in Mexico, and for a family that's basically sleeping on dirt and with just plastic tents and sleeping on the ground, and being able to donate a house through the Greatness Foundation and get them help a family live a better life, and being able to pay off my family's debt, and being able to and just being able to do awesome shit with the people I love, and having more freedom and happiness in my life. Those accomplishments came out of me just working on myself and surrounding myself with awesome people that encourage me, and being able to invest in myself. And now I'm living the best life that I could ever imagine, out here in San Diego, and living with my girlfriend, and just really being in love with my business and in love with what I do. And those accomplishments came out of that, just working on myself and surrounding myself with awesome people. So I think I needed to speak to that before we move on from those cool awards that I have hanging up for marketing purposes here.
That means totally everything that you just said there. I think it's not a coincidence that you said that. I actually wrote down contribution as one of my main speaking points, one of my highest values. And we could just talk about it. I wanted to talk with you about contribution, because I think it's a spiritual need. On the 6 needs that Tony Robbins talks about, growth and contribution are kind of on a spiritual level. And so it's so interesting, because a lot of people think that doing a business, being an entrepreneur, has nothing to do with being spiritual. But I think it is the opposite, I think this is how we can serve and commit to our highest level of growth and our highest level of contribution. And one of the things that totally blew my mind and literally changed me is being at the live event at Tribe of Buyers Live, and seeing Avery come on stage, who is now one of the coaches inside the program, and talk about how can you just talk about that story from your perspective, because it changed me and I don't even know how to articulate it. But I would love to know, can you just tell our friends what had happened there?
Yeah, I think what you're talking about is Avery had a condition called strabismus, that it's essentially just a lazy eye that he had since he was little. And I started working with him, and a couple months into working with him, I flew him out to my place in San Diego, and we got to hang out, and he brought up that condition they had, and talked about how he always wanted to have the surgery and all of this. And I asked him, dude, how much is the surgery? And he looked up at me, and he's like, it's this much. And I was just thinking in my head, dude, if you want to do it, I can help you with that. I just thought that in my head. I'm like, I'm just going to send him the money right now. So I sent him a PayPal when we were sitting across from each other for the exact amount that he needed for the surgery. And he heard a ping in his pocket. I remember him reaching into his pocket, looking down and seeing the money. He just fucking bawled his eyes out. And he ended up having the surgery about 4 months later, and now just he's looking straight forward, and he's just so happy with it. So it's like, when I think about money, I don't think about like getting a Lambo or getting a humongous house or anything like that. I really think about like contribution and like making this world a better place, and like the ripple effects. I can't imagine the ripple effects that will have for Avery and the people that he has in his life, where he can look directly at them and deeply connect. And same thing with the family in Mexico. I can't imagine the ripple effects that will have with them being able to live, like getting their basic needs met and allowing them to grow. That's always what I'm thinking about when it comes to money, is like what small ripple effect can I make from this money and putting it into positive places. Because like when I donate, or like I put money out, or I invest in my business, I know it's going to come back. Like I just trust and am certain in that. And it always does. So until the stock market crashes, but so far, like it always does. So.
Then it will come back in other ways, dude. That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, I think too, like one aspect of that, ripple effect of change that you had just with the Avery story alone. And then for Avery to show up at the event and share, hey, this is what happened for me, that inspired me to, like, it's selfish, right? But like, that's kind of what I needed to know, to remember, like, oh, it's really worthwhile to make $1 million business happen, right? And it doesn't really matter where I'm at, because that's where I'm at now. It's like, it depends on where I want to be. That was one of my biggest takeaways from the event too, making your decisions on a daily basis, not from from your current reality, because if you do that, you're going to continue to experience the same thing, but making decisions from where you want to be. And so that just inspired me and reminded me of who I am, like what I've always wanted to do. And that's funny, because those are the effects that I typically have when I talk to my clients. Like, they show up to me and they decide they can do what they've always wanted to do. And my thing, and I've shared this with you before, is like philanthropy, right? Like, I want to empower 1,000 entrepreneurs to make their first $1 million in business, and help thousands of people, so that they can be the billionaire philanthropist, and I can become the billionaire philanthropist that I needed when I was 18 years old, when I was going to literally die. I was like on a destructive path of death is what I was on, really. I was going to die either quickly or slowly. I didn't have like an intention to die, but it was one of those things where I didn't have an intention to live, but I needed somebody to believe in me and then invest in me. And that's completely changed, like, everything. Because a lot of people out there will say, I believe in you, you got this. But to do that and then invest in someone, it's a complete game changer. And I want that for everyone, like everybody you're watching. Like, you want to have some contribution goals, whatever they are. Like, if you feel inspired, like, write them down right now. Like, it's so good.
Totally. And one thing I want to piggyback off of that with is, like, I feel like everybody wants to make this world a better place. Everybody wants everybody else to be like happier, but we get caught up in our own bullshit. Like, I still get caught up in my own bullshit from time to time. If I'm underslept, if I'm stressed out, like, I still get caught up in my own bullshit. But it's really like how quick we can shift that energy and shift our state to get back to those states where we're thinking at a higher frequency. Mm-hmm. So like, for me, it's breath work, doing breath work every Friday. There's this lady here, Karen Winters, who hosts like 8 to 10 people in her living room. And we just listen to like Nickelback and Creed and lay on the ground and do breath work for like an hour. And like, it just lets me release all of the anxiety and tension that I'm holding in my body, to allow myself to create the space to think from a higher frequency and not feel that stress in my body. And that's a great way to, and also another great strategy is mind-body alignment breath work, taught by Kai Van Brody. He's one of our coaches inside of 7-Figure CEO. But that is a quicker form of breath work that allows me to align with myself, that I do before sales calls, before interviews, like before this right here. Yeah. And it allows me to think from a higher frequency. So like, we're always going to get caught up in our own bullshit, But just try to figure out ways for you. Maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's just like sitting down and taking a few breaths. But out there, figure out a way to self out your bullshit. And it starts with feeling better, and figure out what you can do real quick to make you feel better, which isn't like drugs or alcohol, which will make you feel worse in the long run, but like something natural that'll make you feel better and get yourself out of your bullshit. That's one huge thing that I've learned over the past 2 years, and going through burnout breakdown and like drinking too much caffeine to cope and all that stuff. Like that's one thing that I've learned. Like the quicker you can identify you're in your bullshit and you can get yourself out of it, and you identify that thing that helps you get out of it, like the better, like the more of a, you'll get to where you want to go faster.
Yeah. So what has been like the biggest lever for your own personal health? You've mentioned like the positive things to do, like the meditation, the working out, make yourself happy, and the breath work. What are the things, the big things that you needed to let go of for you to reach the level that you are now at?
I think one of the biggest things is creating a space in the morning, so I can focus on the things that I want to focus on throughout the day. So what I used to do, like even just a year ago, I would get up, I would go to the computer, I would start messaging people and start trying to generate sales. Like, even though I knew that wasn't the best way to start my day, I would still do it because it like stimulated me, and it was like, I'm driving sales, right? And that led me to burnout. So now how I structure my day, literally on my calendar, I have 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. blocked off. I don't do any of my reactive activities in the morning. I don't take calls. I don't do Messenger. I don't do email, anything like that. I'm content creating for free content and also paid content. I am creating SOPs now, kind of being in the operations phase. But it's anything to really focus on the things that I need to get done for that day and being proactive instead of reactive. So just having my morning cleared off changed a lot of shit for me, because I used to hate taking calls in the morning. It would always screw me up for the rest of the day. So I was like, why don't I just block off like that time so I don't take any calls during that time?
I definitely know I've been guilty of that, where I don't like, I'm just like the need to have activity versus like productivity. Mm-hmm. So just like going to messaging and all that stuff and engaging with Facebook because it's right there. So I think that's going to make a big difference for people here. Mm-hmm. So I want to switch gears a little bit. One of my biggest things that I wanted to, so one of the biggest limiting beliefs I've been hitting with people that are working with me, they want to do high ticket. And I know you're great at doing high ticket programs and monthly recurring revenue. So maybe you can explain what that means in a little bit. But the main thing I wanted you to address, and this came up for myself too, it's just like this belief that, because a lot of people here, their messaging is not aligned, their avatar is not aligned, they're not actually working with the people that they're really meant to serve, who they can just like help the best, that are also strategically aligned, that they can pay for high ticket services. So instead of charging $100 per hour or whatever, they can make big, like, I don't know, I have seen everything from $3,000 programs to $5,000, $8,000, $25,000 programs. And all of that stuff, but just targeting a different person. And so one of the limiting beliefs I'm seeing with a lot of people, entrepreneurs out there, they don't think that there's somebody who has that kind of money who actually wants to work with them. I think that belief is really something like rich people don't need my help, something like that. And that's been coming up again recently. And I think it's important to overcome that, because inability to do this, now instead of having to chase 100 clients, you can create one and like have the same amount of energy and flow. And the ripple effect of that is just that much greater. Just helping that one leader who already has a massive following or impact with teams, etc. So I just want to know your take on that and your experience with that thought, because I feel like you can crush all of that.
Yeah, I think where I want to start is the quote, you do sales for people, you don't do sales to people. When people invest more in themselves, they're saying yes to themselves, and it causes them to take more action and level up. That's been my experience 100% of the time. People buy $1,000 program from me, they don't take as much action as buying a $60,000 program for me, right? It's just, you're investing in yourself. You got to make it hurt a little bit. And on the same side of the coin, I see some people that try to make this high ticket program and they're not certain in their delivery. Mm-hmm. So it causes them to get so many no's on their sales calls. And sometimes you have to take a step back. I had one client, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was selling a $2,500 program, which isn't super high ticket, but he didn't have the certainty and confidence to sell it at that price point. So I told him, hey, let's scale it back. Let's start selling it at $1,000 first and start building up that confidence. And over time, you can build up the confidence in your delivery so you can easily sell that $2,500 program. And we've been working together for 7 months now. And he is now selling the program for $6,000. So like he just needed that confidence to build up, selling at a lower price point and delivering for those clients. And then he was able to build up to that price point. And one thing that I always bring up is having monthly recurring revenue in your business is a necessity. That's my opinion. But having money that's coming in month after month after month that outweighs the expenses that are going out gives you just peace of mind. I used to sell just courses and coaching programs, and it would be a launch every single month or twice a month, just so I could bring in revenue. Now, I don't think we've even done a launch this month, and have done over $100,000 just for monthly recurring revenue that's coming in. It's crucial within, I would say, the first 18 months of your business, creating a strategy to bring in high ticket monthly recurring revenue. Because I see a lot of people in the coaching and info space try to create these low ticket MRR programs, which
like $7 a month or whatever things, right?
Which is, there is a strategy that goes into that, and building your buyers list can be super effective. Mm-hmm. But that, I think, having a lower ticket item, either you got to pump a lot of money into ads for that, or you got to have a big audience already. Some people just do it out of order. There's a time and a place for it, but definitely within the first 2 years, I would not recommend going with a super low ticket, like monthly reoccurring offer, right?
That makes total sense. And I think I've been kind of on the opposite end of that. Like, so my personal experience with high ticket was that when I basically started coaching, I went, this was in 2017, I went to an NLP seminar, and I learned how, like, basically how you can take over the power of your subconscious mind to create anything. Changing your belief changes your reality. And just like that was like a game changer. And so I was working with a coach then, an NLP coach. I told him, dude, I have this block. Like, I don't feel like I can charge $1,000 for my services. He goes through with me, like, where's this coming from? Boom, boom. NLP the shit out of me in 5 minutes. I was like, dude, it's $3,000. And that's when I launched my first $3,000 program. And because I feel like I could. And the other thing about that is I was already conditioned to basically play against the odds since I was like a little kid. What I mean by that is I could get a ton of no's from like having an older brother playing basketball at 15 years old with 18-year-olds and 20 years olds that are way taller than me and everything. I was used to playing and not winning all of the time and still having the most fun, you know? So I was able to get on phone calls, get no after no after no until I reach that person that I can charge my $3,000 program for. This was a long time ago. But then, you know, and then eventually I got it because I was willing to go through that many no's. Now, I think for anybody watching here, it's important you know your own sort of resilience, confidence level, and like how many no's are you willing to get? Like if you're going to crumble, if you get a couple of no's, then maybe just, you know, price to sell. You know what I mean? Price your shit to sell and make it easy on yourself. Because I've done it the hard way. It's not necessarily fun. I think a big part of that too was then when I knew it's possible and I knew I could, doesn't mean that I have to, right? Like I think a little bit of ego is like, well, I need to have a big expensive ticket or else I'm not that important, right? And then if you come back to like growth and contribution, like the contribution is in the end and like helping more people. So there's got to be a little bit of balance in the two of those things. That's probably a different answer for everyone here, but I just wanted to call out how those opposing scales are coming up for me personally. What are your thoughts on that?
I love that. One thing that I think would really benefit your audience is if they don't know Tony Robbins' success cycle and having that image in their brain. I think that would really help a lot of them. And I can pull that up if
I know exactly what you're talking about. He's a big NLP guy, and so it's basically the belief system you have, right? And then it informs your potential, what you think you're able to do. And then it talks about the level of action comes from the level of potential you believe you have. And then that leads to results that you have, which informs your belief system about yourself. So let's look at it. You got it.
Yeah. I recently went to one of his seminars last month, and I thought this was super powerful. And it shows, people always say like momentum is the entrepreneur's drug of choice. Like you catch momentum and that's how you blow the fuck up. And this is really just a momentum cycle. This is how you create momentum in your business. Is really, you got to have the belief or the certainty, which will drive your potential, and your potential drives your actions, the amount of action taking you do, which drives the amount of results you get, which increases your certainty and belief, which increases your potential, which increases the action you take, which increases the results. And it's just a cycle. That's momentum right there. Like when you can just bust through this cycle and keep it going and going and going, you'll catch momentum and your business will grow super fucking quick.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened with me. And like, I think something that increased my belief and my certainty in myself was back in 2017 in Chicago when I was working a 9-to-5 job and just drinking 3-4 nights a week. I finally got to that point where there was so much pain where I was like, something needs to change. Mm-hmm. So I remember waking up in the morning, hungover, running over to the pizza shop across the street to grab one of their free calendars. And I brought it back, I grabbed a Sharpie, and I marked off 90 days, circled the day, and I set a goal to lose 20 pounds and to quit drinking for 90 days. And I think that's the biggest thing that changed my life, because I remember around day 70 being at the YMCA, looking down at the scale, and it's saying 162 pounds, which means I was 21 pounds lighter from 70 days previously. And that like just snapped something in my head. Like if I set a goal and I put my mind to it and I stop at nothing to achieve it, I can do it, which increased my belief, my certainty in myself, which increased my potential, which increased the amount of action that I started to take, which increased the results, and the results increased the belief and certainty. And it's just like, I caught momentum. And it just started with like setting a goal, accomplishing that goal, which increased the certainty and belief in myself. Right. So I think, I think that just cycle is super powerful to know and get into your brain.
And it's so key. Like, I think it's not a coincidence. I was reading The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, it's an amazing book. You're already doing all of the things that's in that book, so don't worry. But he basically, so the story of Hal is like he had a car accident at 17 years old. He had a frontal collision driving in a Mustang at 70 miles per hour, full frontal collision on the highway. So he basically was dead on the spot. They declared him dead, revived him. He was in the hospital for, I think, 8 months with literally every bone in his body broken. And they told him he was going to be a vegetable. He'd never be able to walk or speak. So he made a miracle recovery. And in these 8 months in the hospital, he was studying personal development like crazy, right? He studied all these great CEOs, the greatest CEOs in all of the world ever in history. And he just found these common traits that they were all doing. And they all had these same things that they were all doing. They were not all doing the same things, but they all had some components of this. And so he just developed this routine that if you did all of them, then you could just freaking crush and take off in your own personal development and your business growth. And so, and I don't think you'll be surprised in hearing what these, I think, 5 things are. Are you ready to hear them?
Yeah.
It's called the Savers method, right? Because it saved his life, Lifesavers, and it's an acronym. So if you want to write down, and if you're watching this, you want to write down the word Savers. The S stands for silence. So pretty much 80% of them have a form of silence, like meditation or prayer in the morning, right? That will help them next level success. A stands for active visualization. So they're actually seeing themselves already successful before it's happening, creating their day. They have, and then V, so V is visualization. A is for affirmations, using like the I am statements, right? Stuff like that. Extremely powerful. How that affects your subconscious, it's amazing. E for exercise, right? You already mentioned that. Like I have seen people who tell me they want to make $1 million in their business, but they don't work out. I'm like, I don't know that you will do that. I'm not sure that you will do that. I believe that you can possibly, but I don't believe that you will.
Can I add one thing there?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think working out has increased my potential like so much. Because when I'm in that like final set, final rep, if I push through it and think about like things that like really push me forward and I do more at the gym than I had set out to do, that ripples over into every area of my life where I do more than I set out to do. And the gym is the easiest way to push through pain and do more than like you're showing your brain that you can do more than you're actually capable of.
Like just doing one more mindset, like you do it there, and like over time, it's at 1% shift. And over a year, it's like 30 times more than what you were able to do.
Yeah,
right? So powerful. And so the ripple of that, like you're getting it. So the last couple of items besides exercises, reading, they all read. And I know you're a big reader because you're always quoting a different book every time we talk. And then S stands for scribing. It's like a different word to say writing, like journaling, handwriting. And so he found that the people who do all of them and doing the first thing in the morning, you can just have rapid success. Any of them will change your life. Doing all of them, that's the Miracle Morning Routine. And it's going to change your life. So what I did last year, because I was going through this breakdown and breakthrough cycle from like mental everything, mental, emotional breakdown, divorce, depression, being broke, homeless, all of this, you know the story. So I went through this time and I implemented this and I called this the Broke to CEO tracker, where I would have literally the Miracle Morning built in, and then the first 90 minutes are on me for 90 days, 90-day challenge where 90 minutes in the morning, every single day, you check off all 5 of those items. And then the next 90 minutes, you focus on by the way, it's the most important thing, is yourself. The first 90 minutes in the morning are on you, committed. That's self-love, that's self-care, call it whatever you want. But you do this, and if you do only this, it will change you. But then if you do the next thing and say, okay, the next 90 minutes are for the most important part of my business, no matter what. Like I'm hard to reach, I don't need to contact anyone, I just do the most important thing. So it's the 90-91 rule, right? If for 90 days, you do the most important thing in the first 90 minutes of your day, and then the next 90 minutes for the most important thing in your business, you just consistently for 90 days, life will change. And I mean, I'm the result of that. I've done that a while back, and clearly it's working for you pretty well as well, because I feel like you're doing that already. But yeah, so that's what's coming up, dude. There's like success leaves clues, right? There's no accident that like successful CEOs are doing these things. And it doesn't really matter. You don't need to be a successful CEO to start doing these things. Like these are the requirements to get there, right? So that's my passion right now on that. What do you think of that?
I love it. And people see the awards and it's, dude, it didn't just happen. Like there was so much work that went into getting these awards. And also like, I wouldn't have gotten these awards if I didn't like genuinely care about my clients, like about you, everybody else, and genuinely care about getting them results. It takes a lot of fucking work to get there. But if you do it with laying a foundation for yourself, it's just never gonna crumble. One quote that I got from Roland Fraser's podcast Business Lunch that I absolutely love. I think I shared it on our last call. But it's wealth is what you have when you lose all your money. Meaning that wealth is basically skills in your network. Like if you have built up the skills within yourself, and also have the network. Like if you lose all your money, you're never really going to be poor. Like you're always going to be able to build back up. That's why like there are so many books like talking to 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs saying, hey, if you lost everything, what would you do to build up back your business? And every single one of them so confident, like, yo, I could do it. This is what I would do, right? It's because they built up the skills and the network to really have the confidence and the skills to rebuild their business or whatever they want in their life. Right?
It's so major key that you're saying this. Like who you're becoming in this process is something that also nobody can take away from you, right?
Exactly.
That's the power of education, man. Like my thing is when I came from the sort of streets of Germany and I made miracles happening by coming to America, I had an opportunity to work with kids in after school programs in Wyandotte County, which is really terrible crime rates and poor graduation rates, and overall, it's not the best place to live. And so I was working with those kids and I realized that they needed education, It's like I wanted to help them so badly because I could see the suffering that they're going through, being trapped, and their families are not being the role models that they needed, the mentors that they needed, right? And I could very much relate to that. And now it's like, cool, I realized that, okay, if I want to give education to these children, I need myself to become educated, right? Everybody wants to like help. And that's the biggest thing I see in this community. And I love everyone here. It's just that there's a level of service mindset that is actually not serving other people very well. It's the martyrdom. It's the like, I need to suffer and put everyone else first for everyone else to be better off. But in the end, it's not making everyone better off if you're not in the place of your highest joy, growth, contribution, what fills you up, so that you can give more. And so I know that, I just wanted to know your take on that, because I'm sure you've experienced this with your clients and in your life.
Totally. Back in late 2018, I was going through this phase of just like burnout and depression, and I didn't know why I felt that way. And it wasn't until I flew out to San Diego, actually Escondido, and went to Deer Park Monastery for a week and got to reflect on like, why do I feel so shitty? And the question that I posed to myself when I was journaling at the monastery was, when was I most happy? And I thought back to when I was 18. I had an amazing girlfriend. We just had so much fun together. I had an amazing group of friends and we just did the most random shit together. And I was playing pickup sports. I was playing pickup soccer and I was playing pickup basketball like every single week. And I realized that I hadn't been doing that. Time to hang out with amazing groups of people. I hadn't taken the time to play pickup sports or sign up for a team. And I didn't have that person in my life that I was super in love with. And I realized I wasn't filling my cup up. That's why I was so depressed. That's why I didn't feel good. That's why my clients' results were suffering. That's why my revenue was tanking, because I didn't feel good. I wasn't filling my cup up. So about 2 months later, I move out to San Diego and move in just for a few days. I was visiting Brad Newman and met his housemate, who turned out like she became my girlfriend. And then I stayed out there and found an awesome group of friends. And I started going to LA Fitness and playing basketball 2 to 3 times per week. And I filled my cup up, and 2019 was the best year of my life, personally, professionally, because I took that time to just focus on filling my cup up so I could serve other people better. So yeah, I think it's just identifying when you were most happy, figuring out like what actually made you happy, and then making sure you block the time off on your calendar to actually do those things and hang out with those people,
Absolutely, dude. I so love that. So I'm gonna tune in with the comments. If you're watching this right now, drop a comment, drop like a hashtag live or something. What do you remember a time that you were completely happy? Like, what was that? What's coming up for you? Because I want to know what questions you have and what insights you're getting from this. And if you get value from any of this at all, like the slightest bit, drop a hashtag value or something. And if you're watching the replay, which I know most of you will, drop a hashtag replay and say hashtag I'm from the future or something fun. It's always fun to have people watching from the future, right? So I'm tuning in. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Mario is with us. What's up, Mario?
Yo.
All right. He says Andrew likes hookah. Greatest accomplishment is being overall really good dude. That's what Mario says about you. Heidi is on here. She says two of the best heart-centered coaches right here. All right, and Kathleen is with us. What's up, Kathleen? Sweet. Well, drop any questions you have for Andrew. I'll probably keep him on for another 5 minutes tops, and then I have to let him go. So this is your chance, guys, to ask you questions. And if you have questions later for the replay, maybe we can get him to circle back and answer your questions later too. But dude, what is like? Let's bring it down to like. There's always the 80-20. You know, we discussed the why, right? Like the contribution, filling up your cup. We discussed just like taking care of yourself and health and mental health and all this, and just kind of like a little bit of the business structure, the MRR. But let's get some of the nitty gritty tactics. Like, what are some of the practical things that people can immediately implement that you feel like will move the needle the most? Like something that you may have wished you had done when you were sub 6 figures, or like just getting to that level. Something you wish you'd kind of done sooner. To move. Does this help? In terms of
totally. I would have created an audience sooner, an audience online. If we're talking about tactical stuff, it just comes down to getting eyeballs on your content, getting eyeballs on your stuff. So I did a pretty good job of it once I started growing an audience on my personal profile and in my Facebook group. Wish I had done it sooner, because that lays the whole foundation for online presence and sales in the future. And what I've found is that people usually purchase from me and from my business 3 to 4 months after first getting to know me or first coming into my Facebook group community. So the sooner you can start building that audience, the sooner those and crank out content, the sooner those people become buyers. So in a tactical sense, for your business, if you're starting to grow your business, or like, let's say you're two years old, 5 years in, whatever it is, never lose sight of growing your audience, growing your tribe. And there's so many to do it, whether that is like YouTube organic, Instagram organic, Facebook group organic, like I do, or paid traffic with Facebook, or SEO, or YouTube ads, whatever it is. Make sure that you are always dialing in your messaging, your ideal client, and then put the content out to attract them into your tribe. I wish I had just done that sooner and kind of like really refine the systems around bringing in new eyeballs, nurturing those new eyeballs, and converting those new eyeballs, or those eyeballs. I think that's, in terms of generating revenue for your business, like that's the 80-20. We're in business to, yes, to help, to serve, and to make money. And you can only do that if you have a solid lead generation system and a solid sales system. And that will drive your ability to give back and to contribute, is money. I see a lot of people out there saying that it's not about the money, it's not about the money, but you have this mission, you have this message that you want to get out to the world. The only way you're going to do that is with money. It's not going to come free. It's not going to come cheap. So yeah.
So one of the things that I can imagine some people having things come up about money, if they do, and that's cool. One of the things that I guide people through who work on their relationship with money to fix that is just like, think of the highest version of you, right? The version of you that's already accomplished all the levels of contribution and growth that you want, that already has, retired their parents, those things. Like, did that person have more money than you do right now? Did that person add money to their list of values? Because that's a main thing. Like, if money is not in your system of values, things that you care about, that you proclaim as important, then it's not going to happen on its own. We typically get what's in alignment with our values, and those values are either from societal conditioning or created by ourselves, right? And so that's just a little nugget for anyone who's still kind of like on the fence about creating an audience or wealth in their lives, really. I think it's important. It's service to the world.
Yeah, and as my business grown, as I've made more money, I've been able to come from a place more of abundance than scarcity. Like that's what money will really do from you. It will allow you to feel better and feel more free so you can make better decisions and better help people.
Yeah, man. I won't keep you long. One thing I will add is like this picture of the Maslow's hierarchy. I can just maybe we can end on this. Talk to me about Maslow's hierarchy and how you've seen people's movement on that evolve as they're starting to grow their audience, starting to grow their Facebook groups, and building better businesses. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So why Maslow's hierarchy is so popular and taught in every psychology class is because it's legit. Like you can't move up Maslow's hierarchy unless you have really nailed down the previous stage. And like if you are a coach, your job is not to move somebody from safety and needs to self-actualization. Like your job is just to move them up one stage of Maslow's hierarchy. And I see a lot of coaches try to hit a grand slam when people are like, maybe they spent like the last dollar on your program, and which I don't really recommend that you just like do that unless like you can really, really serve them. But you just know like you can't take them from the place where they're worried about their safety and needs to like becoming an enlightened being and being self-actualized. Like you need to bring them into a community where they feel belongingness and love and all of those needs. And your job as a coach is just to bring them up one level on Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Totally, man. And having a 6-7 figure business is definitely going to help with the self-actualization where you can do stuff like play ball at the park or do whatever, right? Yeah. Dude, I still appreciate your time. Do you want to talk about your giveaway that you have? I've mentioned the 7-figure revenue calculator. Can you talk about what that's good for?
Totally. So just a few weeks ago, I was talking to a potential client, and he was like, I'm stuck. Like, I think it's a mindset issue. My mindset is all screwed up. Like, I've got all these mindset problems, mindset, which may be the issue. But I asked him, like, what's your goal for this month? Like, what's your sales goal for this month? What are you shooting for? You're running a business. What are you shooting for in terms of sales? He said, I don't have one. It's like, well, no shit. You don't have, like, no wonder you're lost. You don't have a direction. You don't have something to shoot for. And I find that to be a very, very common issue for the solo entrepreneur or the small business owners. They don't have very, very defined goals in terms of any goals, but sales in particular. So I have a revenue calculator for you guys, which will help you identify how much money you need to make each month. So you have monthly revenue goals that you need to hit, how many sales calls you need to hop on to hit that revenue goal, how many sales calls you need to book to hit that revenue goal. And then it's just all about data. Your business, I hate to say this, but your business is going to be boring. Like it just comes down to data and tweaking the data and making sure that you hit your numbers. Now, like the actual delivery and like the testimonials and the results you get for people, like that's fun. But when it comes down to like the nitty gritty and decision making, it should be based off of data and not off of feelings. So make sure that you're setting up your goals and making sure that you have goals involving data, involving numbers, so you actually have metrics to base your success off of. So yeah, that's what the revenue calculator will help you accomplish.
Man, that's so key to having that knowledge and data based on truth as opposed to gut instincts and impulsiveness and responsive. Like, yeah, that's going to be game changer. If you don't have clear goals or you just want to learn more about Andrew's work, check out the calculator. And what's another way people can get in touch with you and learn more about your stuff?
Add me on Facebook, Andrew Kroeze, Kroeze. Download that calculator. We have an awesome email series coming out, helping you with tips, tricks, stories, all of that good stuff. I just had lunch. Sorry about that. But all of that. Sign up for the email, add me on Facebook, join the Facebook group, 7-Figure Business Scaling Secrets. And that's probably everything they need.
It's all there, brother. Thank you so much for hopping on, man.
Miro,
And I guess we'll see you next time, brother.